You are listening to More Than a Sniff, a weekly podcast of Western States Canine College. I'm Joe, owner and principal trainer here with my colleagues Chris, Michelle, and Shannon. Today, we are going to talk about mistakes that people make training and how More Than Sit, our online dog training platform, can help avoid the mistakes, but also continue to be successful. And we're in homes all day long and we're doing consultations and evaluations and working with dogs. And Michelle, what are the mistakes that you find when you initially go into the homes with troubled dogs, or even just, we got the dog and now what do we do with it kind of thing? What's the biggest mistakes that you're finding?
That people are treating their dogs like children and not like dogs. There's that, and then there's just not taking the time to do anything with your dog.
Yeah.
And spending the time that they need on training.
Yeah. What on a average, week with, and we're talking about competitive stuff with Murphy, on an average week, how much time would you put into Murphy?
Well, Murphy's 6 now, so not nearly as much as we did when he was a puppy, but when he was a puppy, that's all we did all day. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But it was probably 15 minutes twice a day, which is really not that much time.
Right.
But it's definitely, it's a half an hour of your day that was on top of making sure that he was being crate trained and making sure that he had meals at certain times and all the other stuff.
Right.
I recommend for most people they work their dogs at least 15 minutes every day.
Yeah. Okay.
Which doesn't seem like that much time to me at all.
Right.
Competitive was a little different, but
yeah. So,
but even to this day, he probably gets worked 10 minutes every day, just when we're just goofing off in the kitchen and stuff. Yeah.
I think that the biggest, when you got Murphy and we kind of knew we were heading down the competitive route with him. But I think it's hard for people every day to find time. Or we come up with excuses. And because they're not really that bad, right? We can justify a lot with our dogs. They're not really that bad. But time and the confidence to know what you're doing, nobody wants to ruin their dog. So what happens is I'm just not going to do anything because I'm afraid of ruining. And so what if I do it wrong? What if I ruin my dog? I don't know that anybody can ruin a dog. You can, but not really through training in some way, shape, or form. And so it's at least put the effort into it. And so the nice thing about our online dog training platform, More Than Sit, is that your confidence is right there at your fingertips. You don't have to wait for a trainer to call you back. You don't have to wait to get a trainer in the door. It's right there. And if we don't have it, you can request it. And so, one of the biggest mistakes is coming up with excuses of time, of I don't know how, or I don't want to ruin my dogs. Shannon, what's your take?
I think one of the biggest mistakes that people have is not having everyone that all lives in your household be on the same page of what's expected of the dog and following the rules. So if you can set up rules and have everyone follow the same rules and then everyone learn the techniques, not everyone in your household is going to be available all at the same time, right? Everybody's all super busy. So if everyone has access to their online platform and everyone can watch the video that week and know exactly the technique and everyone's on the same page about what's going on with the dog, then there's no room for the dog to fail and not meet someone's expectations, because everyone's expectations are the same.
Right. So Michelle, from a training standpoint, how much do you cost to come into my home and train?
How much do we cost? It's $100 each time.
Okay.
Roughly, depending on what we're doing and stuff. But
right. Okay. So for Michelle to come into your home, if you prepay, is $100 a session. If you pay individually to come in and teach one thing, it's $150. So if you take that plus time, right, where they've got a call, we've got to get something scheduled, I think we tend to be more flexible than our clients, actually. We have a full schedule, but we can make it happen. And so if I signed up for some training sessions and I wanted some extra help or videos or notes on what we went over because my life is so crazy and I can't even think straight, is the online dog training platform appropriate for like extra help?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dog training is such an ongoing thing that every day you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to ask that.
Right.
Like I forgot that Fido was peeing somewhere that, I totally forgot. So yeah, of course. I mean, on top of what we already talked about, which then you can go and refresh. But also like every day you're going to think of, oh my gosh, how do I fix that? Or what do I do here?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's right there at your fingertips. And so, to avoid the biggest mistakes that people make, from dog selection to, I don't want to ruin my dog, to I don't have time. It's expensive. It's not cheap to train your dog, but we're offering this, and the prices are going to start changing on our online platform, but we're offering this at like a fourth of the cost. And you have full access to everything that we teach in-home. And if we don't, we're going to shoot a video for you. So now would be the time to sign up and to get on it, because you'll spend less in the long run to have so much information at your fingertips that there's no way that you're going to make a mistake. And the questions you can ask them on the forum. And it takes the excuses out of dog training completely. And the mistakes that we say we are afraid to make because we don't want to train. The online platform, if you're worried at 2:00 in the morning and you're up, you can log on and watch them. Shannon, what do you think the benefit would be to signing up with the online platform versus having in-home training and just, helping with general mistakes that we make as dog owners?
So in-home training, we come to your house for about an hour and teach you all of the things, and then it might be several weeks before we come back again. And I don't know about you, but I have a hard time remembering things. Yeah. And so if you have the online platform, you can go and watch the video over and over again. And I kind of look at it like as I look at exercising. When you go and exercise, like you have to do the exercises with a certain technique or your muscles don't get worked out the way that they're supposed to.
Right.
And if you don't have the proper form, you can exercise all you want and it will do nothing for you. Yep. And training is the same way. And if you can watch the video over and over to refresh your mind every time you go to train your dog, you will get your technique right every time. And all those 15 minutes that you're doing every day will be worth more than if you can't remember and you're trying to do it, but you get it like a little bit wrong. It'll take longer for your dog to learn. So it maximizes the amount of time to be more effective every time that you're training.
Yeah. So with the online platform, Michelle, if I don't have, maybe I've owned several dogs and I pretty much kind of know what I'm doing. And I don't really want to hire a dog trainer, but I have some questions. Is More Than Sit appropriate for, I don't want to hire a dog trainer, I just want to learn online. Is it appropriate for that? And how can people benefit by not hiring a dog trainer to come into their home, but just online learning?
Of course. I'm just going to use me and you as an example for this. We bounce ideas off each other all the time. Like, I'm still learning every day, and you still bounce ideas off of me. You've been doing this for how long? Like, It's definitely something that can still help. And even if you've had 30 dogs and you've been doing agility your whole life, so you know how to train in that aspect, definitely there's definitely something else on there for you.
Yeah. So, Shannon, what if we could just talk to everybody out there, and just, you know, just from the deepest part of your soul, as far as, you know, us building this whole thing out for people, what, why should people sign up for it?
I learned all of my dog training knowledge up until I met Joe from reading books. That was what was available to me in that time. You go to the library, go to the bookstore, buy a book on the technique you wanted to do, and then try it on your dog, because like you're just reading words of how they explain it, and so you just have to experiment until you get it right. I took all of that work and all of my knowledge to work with Joe to make a way to teach you guys that is better than going and reading a book and like figuring it all out yourself. We took all the hard part out of it for you and put it in a video so that you can watch exactly what you need to do that will work the best way so that you don't have to have any pain and suffering to train your dog. It's the easiest way to train your dog available in the world right this second.
Michelle, what's been the funnest part of shooting videos?
The funnest part of shooting videos. I've actually learned a lot. Shooting videos is fun, and about training dogs and going back and watching the videos and watching my body language and what I'm putting off to dogs and stuff like that. It's helped me so much as a dog trainer to help other people. Yeah. So I think that's what people can get from it too, is watching our body language and being like, oh, like Joe standing like this time, and you know. Yeah.
It's we want to help people be successful at training their dogs, and it's so easy, and that's what we wanted it to be. And it's been a crazy journey shooting videos, because we're not movie stars or actresses or anything of that nature, nor are we professional video, whatever you want to call it, and so we really just wanted to make it as raw as we possibly could to help people really see who we are and how we do things and what happens. So sometimes your videos are watching the dog and you see the feet of us trainers, but you get to watch the dog and see what the dog and how the dog is responding. So it takes away all the fear of making mistakes and gives everybody the confidence to train. So I would suggest getting on and signing up for the subscription of More Than Sit and start training, and it'll help you to never stop training. Thank you for listening. If you want to know more about us and our services, please visit our website at www.wsk9co.com. And as always, we urge you to get out and train.